Monero is one of the privacy-protecting coins that sprouted from the seeds of early cyberpunk philosophy. If we look into coinmarkettrade.com, we'll learn that it's decentralized cryptocurrency that uses privacy-enhancing technologies to hide transactions and keep users anonymous. It's also self-proclaimed leading cryptocurrency for private transactions that are resistant to censorship. On the one hand, the Monero project is similar to other decentralized cryptocurrencies in that it is in digital cash, allowing accessible payments around the world without third-party intervention. This token is called XMR and people often use interchangeably. However, on the other hand, most cryptocurrencies have transparent blockchains where any researcher or investigator can trace the addresses of buyers and sellers. Even powerful cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum and Bitcoin are on this list. Thus, anyone snooping on the Ether scan could potentially link addresses to real identities. However, in Monero, people can use various privacy-enhancing technologies to maintain anonymity. We will discuss the technical aspects of this process below. For now, it should be clear that transactions in Monero are untraceable. Not at all. This is somewhat different from how Zcash and other privacy coins selectively use transparency alternatives, so Monero boasts that it is only private coin where users are anonymous by default. This means that sender and recipient addresses and transaction amounts remain hidden thanks to Monero's technology. Since Monero is untraceable, individuals and merchants accepting Monero don't have to worry about censorship or blacklisted coins. CryptoNote. For a deeper understanding of how Monero came to be, it is useful to familiarize yourself with its origins. CryptoNote is a part of its origin story. It is also an applicator layer protocol that seeks to solve some of the Bitcoin's problems such as transaction tracking, cumbersome script, and financial data privacy. Nicholas van Zijbergen is the author of the original CryptoNote white paper. It appears in 2013. The author argued that anonymity and privacy are crucial for cryptocurrencies. In addition, he stated that the ability to track Bitcoin proved to be a critical flaw in its design. First, a Bitcoin Talk forum participant took the CryptoNote concept and implemented it in the coin called BitMonero. Later, after a disagreement over the direction of the project, the core Monero team made a fork, and the community followed suit. Since then, it has been the core Monero team that has been overseeing the project. So the crypto community used CryptoNote technology to develop XMR. Remarkably, both the author of the CryptoNote and the identity of the author of the original forum post have remained anonymous. Since then, the project has created a large community of developers concerned with the user privacy. Not surprisingly, many of them also remained anonymous. Since its launch, the project has undergone a number of significant improvements. Most importantly, almost all of these improvements are primarily aimed at increasing privacy and security, and secondary at ease of use. More than 500 developers around the world have contributed to the project, and the community supports various chat channels and forums. Understanding the technology. To get an explanation about Monero, you need to know about some of the technologies behind it. Among other things, the crypto project has zero knowledge proofs, stealth address, IP hiding built into the blur transaction details, and so ZK proofs. Developers have implemented ZK proofs, which can validate a transaction without revealing its value. Ring cities. Ring cities have also been introduced to obfuscate transactions starting in 2017. Ring cities technology protects users sending Monero. It takes the sender's address and groups it with other addresses to blur the lines between an individual and other users. Hidden addresses. These user-generated addresses protect recipients by making the owner untraceable to the network watchers. Dandelion++ protocol also hides users' IP addresses using broadcast transaction propagation. Randoms. Monero previously used the kryptonite mining algorithm but then created randoms in the November 2019 to validate transactions and issue new tokens. It is a proof-of-work algorithm that is ACIC resistant and produces a new block every 2 minutes. In addition, there is no maximum block size. Therefore, instead of block size limit, the algorithm uses a block reward penalty and dynamic block size to scalability. How does it work? In Monero, new transactions arrive at a single node in the network. A probabilistic method then determines whether to send the transaction to a single node or broadcast it to multiple nodes. This process is called flooding and is a way to protect against the growing number of bots that are constantly analyzing the blockchain. In general, to get an explanation about Monero, understand that the default networks provide privacy. However, if user wants to allow third-party auditioning of their wallets, they have to the option of sharing a private browsing key. Cyberpunks, anarchists, and ordinary privacy advocates use Monero because of its superior privacy features that the other cryptocurrencies can't provide. As you can imagine, people who enjoy total privacy drive supervisors and regulators crazy, so it's no surprise that there are ongoing tracking efforts. In 2017, 3 significant threats to Monero's privacy came to light. Disclosure of withdrawal amounts. Researchers attempted to use the size of the ring signature to reveal withdrawal amounts. Tracking transactions. They have also tried to track transactions using pin aggregation by linking 2 pins to the same user. One example is churn, where a user sends token to himself. Predicting outputs. Using temporal analysis, researchers believe that predicting the correct output in a ring signature may be easier than previously thought. To summarize, 2018 research paper titled Empirical Traceability Analysis in the Monero Blockchain look at some of these potential vulnerabilities Monero developers and the community had to face and overcome these issues for the privacy protocol. Existential threats to privacy. In September 2020, the IRS offered $625,000 reward to developer who could create a tool to track Monero and other privacy-preserving cryptocurrency transactions and de-anonymized user addresses. Notability, Chainalysis, and Integra made it to the finals. This makes one wonder about critics of XMR and private coins in general. Government agencies constantly complain that XMR coin is just a tool for darknet merchants and make money launderers. Unfortunately for privacy advocates, the residents of banned cryptocurrency countries who use XMR for the settlement, the attention-grabbing headlines of stories about illicit users can ruin everything. Below are some of the illegal uses of Monero often criticized by the media. Darknet markets. Darknet markets use XMR as a medium of exchange. Alphabay, one of the such darknet marketplace, allows its vendors to accept Monero instead of Bitcoin in 2016. In 2017, law enforcement agencies pulled the site offline. However, it reopened in 2021, and Monero took the top spot among accepting cryptocurrencies. Moreover, in 2019, Reuters also revealed that 3 of the top 5 darknet markets were using XMR, though BTC was still leading the cryptocurrency. Ransomware groups are also using Monero. In 2018, CNBC reported that this criminal used Monero in about 44% of ransomware infections. By the infamous WannaCry ransomware attack, the shadow brokers gang tried to exchange their Bitcoin to Monero. BBC News later reported that the Shapeshift exchange rejected the transaction. As a consequence, the shadow brokers began accepting Monero payments directly instead of Bitcoin in 2017. In 2021, CNBC and others reported that demand for the Monero was growing. One reason was that the feds seized a large amount of extorted BTC in the cyber attack on the Colonial Pipeline. In addition, Bloomberg reported that the surge in XMR use was due to investigators getting better at monitoring Bitcoin transactions. Notably, the dark side group behind the attack usually demands Bitcoin or Monero from its victims. However, they charge up to 20% extra for Bitcoin because of the increased price trafficking risk. Reveal, another ransomware group, removed the Bitcoin option in 2021 and requires XMR payments exclusively. Not surprisingly, this illegal use of XMR token has promoted regulators to pressure exchange to delist it. Monero philosophy. Monero is not just about creating a new technology. Most importantly, it is about what the technology stands for. Below are some of the team's visions. Security. Monero secures transactions using the latest encryption tools, so users can fully trust that their funds will not be at risk of error or attack. Privacy. The Monero team knows that some of its users live in countries ruled by the dangerous dictators and face the death penalty if caught. Therefore, developers must take privacy seriously and their users must be able to trust protocol unconditionally. Decentralization. Monero supports decentralization code development and network security through the POW consensus mechanism. Conclusion. It should be clear by now that the Monero blockchain is opaque, which means that network spies cannot tie transactions and amounts to a user's address. Nothing drives regulators as crazy as individuals trading freely among themselves without oversight. States need tax revenues to survive, and people in positions of power are inherently eager to control others, so as soon as the digital currency emerges that can thwart such efforts, the state-controlled media will focus on its negative aspects. Of course, illegal use of XMR token will occur, but we saw similar treatment of Bitcoin users in the early days of its existence. Report is constantly tied to evaluate Bitcoin with the criminal underbelly of society. If anyone read about BTC in the mainstream publications, it was virtually synonymous with illegal activity on the Silk Road. Despite the negative information backdrop, the cryptographers and early cryptographers who first bought their idealistic visions of a global financial alternative to reality would have more in common with Monero today than with some of the most popular blockchains.